Hi, it's Ramsey Dewey at the GX Fight Club in Shanghai, China. And I'm responding today to a letter from Anar from Germany, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. But thank you so much for the letter and for the kind words and supporting the channel and what I do. Appreciate it a lot. So on to the question. Question about fitness. There are plenty of plans and systems to gain muscle and condition your body, but I would rather follow your steps if it would be possible, and you could share a fitness plan for me. I want to know how and which way I should train my body, building up my arms, chest, shoulders, and back. I was training 3 years ago, and I want to begin again with fitness training. I'm currently 180 centimeters tall and 85 kilos, so we're actually close to the same size here. According to your video, I am overweight. I would say I am overweight and I have to solve this problem too. And last question, how can I find out my body fat percentage? Now first thing, let's go to that overweight thing. That I am overweight video, I have to point out, that is a tongue-in-cheek video. As you can see, I'm clearly not an obese or fat person in spite of what the World Health Organization and CDC standards say, okay? Like I said in that video, throw BMI out the window. Your body mass index is not an indicator of health. It's just how tall you are relative to how much you weigh. Okay, so focus on athletic performance instead. All right, so let's address that last question quick, because that's the easy one. How do you find out your body fat percentage? Now, there are several different ways. The easiest one is an electronic impedance measurement. Now that sounds kind of fancy, but a lot of modern bathroom scales can actually measure your body fat percentage within a reasonable margin of error. Okay, electronic impedance simply means it sends an electronic impulse up and down through the body and measures your body fat. That's the quickest, easiest way to do it. Again, a lot of modern bathroom scales, inexpensive ones, have that option. Now, you can also do a skin fold calipers test. And that's a little more complex and time-consuming and has a larger margin of error. They basically take these plastic calipers and pinch the fat on various parts of your body and measure how much it is. Okay. A third way to do it is actually weigh yourself underwater, which not a lot of places are equipped to do that. So again, the easiest, fastest way, electronic impedance. Get a bathroom scale that can measure your body fat, or go to a gym that has one. Okay. Now, you also mentioned in your letter another video that I posted about, it's titled, What Does a Fighter Eat in a Day? Now, specifically, that's what I eat in a day. I eat about 5,000 to 6,000 calories each day. Okay, I burn a lot of energy because I'm up very early. Okay, I'm in the gym about 6:30 each morning. And I finish about 10 p.m. at night. Okay, so I'm constantly training. I teach group classes, I do private instruction throughout the day, and I train myself. I spar with my students, I roll with my students, so I spend a lot of energy. Okay, so if all I was doing with the same diet was one simple workout a day for myself, I would probably be huge. Right? So that 5,000 calories a day, again, that is to support what I do in a day. Again, I burn up energy like a furnace with my job. So your diet should definitely be tailored to you specifically and to your activity level. So I didn't post that video necessarily so that you could copy what I do simply to see what I eat in a day. Because again, some people were asking, what do you eat? Okay. But at the same time, what I eat, what you see in that video, it's mostly, it is entirely whole foods, right? If it grows out of the ground or if it has a mother, it's a whole food, okay? If it has all kinds of scientific sounding ingredients and you can't trace it back to nature, probably don't eat it. That's a pretty good rule of thumb for nutrition. Now, let's talk about a fitness plan, okay? Now, two things that I do. Number one, fight training. Train to win fights. Number two, strength training. So I spend the bulk of my training fight training. Okay, that means I am working against a resisting human being. We are either sparring, or we are rolling, striking, or grappling, boxing, Muay Thai, MMA sparring, training technique, drilling techniques. So the bulk of what I do is basically body against body weight against body weight, or my body weight against myself. Okay? Now, the second thing I do is strength training. That includes weights, that includes plyometrics, that includes calisthenics, and it includes gymnastic movement. That is supplementary to the main thing I do, which is fight training. It's not a replacement for it. It's not even the bulk of what I do, but it is supplementary to my fight training. In other words, all of my lifting, all of my gymnastic movement, all of my calisthenics and so on are for the singular goal of making me a better fighter. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is it's very difficult to train over the internet, okay? Because training has to be a real life thing. It has to be an everyday kind of thing. So if you have one available, I'd strongly suggest join a martial arts club or a gym, a jiu-jitsu gym or an MMA gym or a boxing gym or something like that, where you can go and train live every day, okay? If you have any questions about how to find a good one, yeah, let me know. But try them all out. Find out what's a good fit for you. I'm going to tell you something about plans for strength training, fitness, conditioning, etc. They all work as long as you are consistent about them, okay? So a program I often recommend to beginners starting out as far as strength training goes is the 5x5 program using a basic form of periodization. Okay, take a look behind me. What do you see? It's a squat rack. So I know you asked about chest, shoulders, arms, pretty much the upper body, right? And that's understandable because as humans we tend to feel like we exist up here. We focus on the upper body a lot. We want to see, pecs and abs and biceps popping out and all this stuff. But prepare yourself. I'm going to tell you, squatting and deadlifting, as far as what I do, is much, much more important than any upper body specific exercise that you're ever going to do. Now, the one upper body exercise I do a lot of, pull-ups. Why? Because pulling strength is much, much more important for combat sports than pushing strength. Okay, your ability to pull your arms into the body is much more important than the ability to push them away, as far as combat sports, especially grappling goes. All right, I'm going to explain the 5x5 program a little bit for you, because again, that is the program I recommend to most beginners. It's not the one I'm using right now, so if you want to follow exactly what I do right now, don't do that, because a beginner following a more advanced program is not a good idea. Again, start by building a foundation and then build on top of that. Okay, so what you'll want to do is get a decent idea of how much you can lift, right? We don't want to kill ourselves, we don't want to injure ourselves, but you want to get a decent idea of how much you can lift. And then we're going to work out with less than that, okay? Like anywhere from half, 2/3, maybe even less than that, maybe even a lot less. Again, it is best to err on the side of caution, so start small. Now, we're not finished warming up, okay? When I warm up, I take it very gradually. Again, I mentioned I've had a lot of knee problems in the past, not related to squatting. Again, squatting has actually helped my knee problems resolve themselves. Okay, squatting correctly is good for your knees, contrary to what a lot of people say. Okay, just like deadlifting correctly is actually good for your back, contrary to what a lot of people say. Okay, so why squatting? Why deadlifting? Why do I push that number one instead of all of the upper body exercises? For the very specific reason that these are the foundational exercises. They are the postural exercises. They're the ones that are going to make your posture strong. They're the lifts that carry over most into combat sports. The 5x5 program is very simple. You start with a fraction of your max lift, and you do 5 sets of 5 repetitions each, 25 total lifts. Do this twice a week. Give yourself about 2 days of rest in between each type of lift. So, for example, you will squat twice a week, you will deadlift twice a week, etc. After 2 weeks, you will add a small amount of weight to your working load. You will keep doing this, your working load will keep getting larger and larger, and then eventually you will reach a strength plateau where you will have to change your program in order to get stronger. Pull-ups are something you can and should do every single day. If you can't do a pull-up right now, keep pulling, keep practicing until you can get up there. It's one of those things where you can add weight with a belt like this, or add more repetitions as you go. So there's really no short answer for a conditioning plan, and again, I'm almost out of battery here, but research what is called periodization. An excellent book. I would strongly recommend The New Rules of Lifting by Lou Schuster. Again, The New Rules of Lifting. Go check that out. It's fairly affordable on Amazon. You can find a used copy pretty cheap. It's a fantastic book, and it's all about simplifying strength training to the bare bones components. And that's the most important, in my opinion, is to simplify to the lifts that are going to give you the most bang for your buck, right? Like the squat, the deadlift, the pull-up. All of the compound lifts are great for that, specifically. Okay, so focus on those, and again, periodization is a simple program where we work a different part of the body each day, and we work on a different lift or set of lifts each day. And you asked for my program specifically. My program is very close to what Lou Schuster recommends in The New Rules of Lifting, the one that I personally follow. So he's got some fantastic programs spelled out in that book. It's a great read. A lot of strength training books are informative and great information, but super boring to read. That one's not. It's awesome. Well worth the money. Go check it out. Okay, I hope some of this helped. I'll keep posting, my workouts and whatnot. If you have specific questions or concerns, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Hey, thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.